The funeral for Gillie's son was yesterday. The funeral for Gillie's son was yesterday. Rest in peace to Gillie's son. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into the show.
Family, friends, even strangers solemnly gathering at the Met today for a final goodbye to local rapper Devin Spady, also known as Young Cheese, gone way too soon. The 25-year-old, the son of popular podcaster and rapper Gillie King, well known himself for giving back to the Philly community. Young Cheese was gunned down last week in a triple shooting in Olney. Today was all about his life and how to keep his memory alive. Our Cheyenne Corinne has the details.
Yeah, so the Met was full of people remembering the life of Devin Spady, also known as Young Cheese. But you know, this service not only showed how much he was loved, but also how much support his entire family has.
Devin was always the life of the party, always wanting to bring the family together.
The community wrapping their arms around this family mourning
That's a lot of
the loss
people.
Devin Spady, better known as his rap name, Young Cheese.
When my life is over and all of y'all show up to my funeral, one thing I don't want y'all to do is lie on me. Don't say that Anton was I don't even want to say it. One thing I don't want y'all to listen. Don't say anything to the news about me that's just general. Don't say like, oh my God, he was a good person and he would have gave anybody anything and none of that other type of stuff. Don't do that, y'all. Don't do that for me. Like, give some real shit. Like, learn me, understand me, appreciate me. Say, yo, when I first met Anton, I didn't like that motherfucker. He was saying some shit that really, really pissed me off. But over time, I grew to love him. And then I had a coaching call with him. He helped me get my fucking life together. And now my marriage is fixed. Say some real shit like that about me. Like, don't give the general stuff. Don't say Anton was the life of the party. He would have gave anybody anything. He was a good person. His heart was pure. Don't do that shit. Give me some real shit when you talk about me. Say like, yo, Anton was always the nigga that I would tap into on a Millionaire Morning Show if I knew that I was fucking up because I knew that he was going to give me that church meeting. Anton was the dude that was going to make sure that he streamed every day. And so, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like him sometimes. And he always cussed out the women. And he held men accountable. But shit, at least he stood on his square. I ain't never known Anton to put his dick in something that, you know what I'm saying, was for the streets. Like, say some shit like that. Don't be out here just caping. And if you never knew me, don't say that you knew me. Don't come over here caping. A lot of you niggas be coming up here, yeah, man, I met him in real life. Nigga, you never showed up to a Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I was in the Patreon one time and then I went broke, so I never subscribed, but I meant to. No. If you're going to be a part of the Bag Chasers, jump into the Patreon right now. The Fleece Johnson interview is dropping tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? See, look at that. Sam the guy. Anton's hairline died before he died, is what I would say. That's fair. That is fucking fair. You know what I'm saying? Hey. Any of these hoes that want to act like Anton is out here fucking on you and all that shit, don't come out of the woodwork after I'm gone. Show yourself now so we can appreciate who you are and we can address you accordingly. Let me defend myself while I'm fucking alive. Give me my flowers while I'm here. Don't say that shit when I'm gone. When I'm gone, it's too late. If we got any hoes that's out here for the streets that want to say Anton is on here fucking on something, come on, bring your ass to the front of the congregation so we can address it now. Don't show the fuck up after I'm gone talking about, I think it was my baby. I think Nah, bitch, I got a vasectomy. I ain't the daddy of your child. Don't lie on me. Don't act like I was there when I wasn't. My GPS on my phone is triangulating and it's saying that I'm right here in the fucking studio and you was over there on Schaefer. You know what I'm saying? Let me defend myself right now. Don't come out of the woodwork like y'all did Martin Luther King trying to sully his name. Let me bring your ass to the front of the congregation so we can call you for the streets and address you accordingly, like you Carly Russell. Don't act like that's my baby. I don't know you. I never knew you. Depart from thee. Anyways, I just wanted to make sure I made that public service announcement. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was coming out the woodwork. Yeah, man, I knew Kevin Samuels. That was my guy. Like my nigga. Kevin Samuels did not know you. You know what I'm saying?
25-year-old was shot and killed in Alney last Thursday.
And it's ironic that you have somebody like the father of Brother Devin, may Allah have mercy on him, who is constantly giving that message to people to put the guns down. That what we're dealing with here is senseless.
Shafiqa Todd is Spady's aunt on his mother's side.
I'm a little nervous of once everything calms down, how she's going to be. But we have a huge support system, and I just pray that in time it'll be easier for her to do. It's going to be a forever loss for her.
During the service, neither his father, Gilly the Kid, or his uncle, Wallow, spoke. But this morning, Wallow posted this video to his Instagram, thanking people for the support and committing to continuing to uplift the community.
It's a tragic situation, but I'm going to tell you this. Tomorrow's going to be better than yesterday, and we'll never stop believing that.
Yo, the reality is that, and listen, God bless the family. God bless Gilly. God bless, rest in peace. God bless Wallow. But the reality is this. The culture is absolutely fucking trash. And we're not going to forget. We're not going to forget what the fuck happened in the first place. That he just got killed in a triple shooting in the hood. Ain't no fucking communities. Ain't no fucking tribes that's really... Listen, it's a strong possibility of all of those people that y'all seen gathered at his funeral. Let me show you something. All these people right here. Of all of these people right here, it is a strong possibility that the killer is right there at the funeral. You know how I know that? Because I've been watching Mindhunters on Netflix. And they say that the killer usually tries to revisit the scene, or they try to go because they get off on a possibility of being in the middle of it, but they're not necessarily going to get caught as a result of it. It is a strong possibility that the guy that knocked him off is right there in the middle of that crowd right there. We're not just going to forget about that. Right? And again, lay that man to rest. God bless him. I hope that everything goes well, but the reality is that the culture is still fucking trash, and it's a strong possibility that when you look in that group of people, it is the killer, the shooter is probably walking around on the street right then and there in the middle of the crowd, and that's the fucked up part about it. And I said this yesterday when I was talking about the YN Melly case, right? Black people know who the killer are. We know who the thugs are. We know who the killers are. We know who the drug dealers are. If we really wanted to clean up our communities, we could. If we really wanted to clean up our communities, we could. If you really wanted to raise the property values, thank you for the super chats. I'm going to be reading those shortly. If you really wanted to raise the property values in your community, you could. If you wanted to get the thugs off the streets, you would. If you wanted to eliminate the drugs from your community, you could. Most of the time, the person that hits you up is somebody that already know you. We know who the thugs are. Listen, we're so good and we're so smart, but we're so voluntarily ignorant that we know the children that's going to grow up to be the killers and the thugs and the ones that terrorize the community before they even grow up to manifest themselves to be a part of that. We already know the kids. You know if your kid is going to be a fuckboy before he even grow up to be in middle school or high school. You know who your children are. You know if your kid is going to grow up to be a thug. You know if he going to grow up to be an asshole. I'll do you one better. You also know whether or not you should have stamped out that homosexuality in him before he started to get the milk and cookies. You seen it in him early, and instead of you stamping that shit out and putting him in a space where he can be around some masculine men to teach him to hold frame and what men are supposed to be like, you let that motherfucker get in a dress. You let him get in the dress. You already seen it before he became it, and we sitting here acting like we don't know what the fuck is going on. But instead, you let that nigga get some milk and cookies. You knew he needed his father in his life, but instead you decided to weaponize him against his father, and then his father had to fight years and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in court just to get joint custody and to see him on the fucking weekends. Meanwhile, his dad don't even want him to turn out like that, but because he don't have a strong male presence in his life and he keeps sitting up under his aunties all day, all he know is the milk and cookies. This is why this is the realest fucking morning show on earth. It's because I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to tell the truth. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. Fuck your feelings. We already know who the killers are. We know who they gonna be. We know who it is that's going to do it. We know where the drug transactions is going to take place. We know what time that they coming to go. You know every single thing about it, but instead you continue to act like you don't know shit, but you will protest for police reform as though they have any kind of say-so of how it is that you're raising a killer. But I'm the bad guy. Here, I'll give you an example. I'll give you the perfect example. So, this funeral took place in the Philadelphia metro area. Rest in peace to Gillie's kid. All right? And then right after that, there was a shootout in which a woman was shot to death inside of her car right outside of Philadelphia.
More gun violence claims another life. A woman was shot and killed. Shayna.
Oh, Karen, this woman was 32 years old, just sitting in her car. We're told she was sitting in her Honda Civic yesterday in broad daylight when a white SUV pulled up and opened fire. We know at least 15 of those shots were directed right into her windshield. We do know also that this again happened right in broad daylight, right about 6 o'clock.
In broad daylight, at least 15 shots on a woman that's sitting inside of her Honda Civic. I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. Thank you for supporting the platform. Over 1,800 people in here. Make sure y'all get the likes up. In broad daylight, right after the funeral, in broad daylight, woman sitting inside of her Honda Civic, over 15 shots because they wanted to make sure she was dead. Right inside of her car, 32-year-old woman, out of there. Out of there. The fuck up out of there. Shot to death while she's sitting in her car.
Evening yesterday in Philadelphia's Feltonville neighborhood in the 500 block of East Loudon Street. There was also a playground right around the corner from where it all happened. As I mentioned, the vehicle was hit 15 times with several of those bullets going right through the windshield. According to Chief Inspector Scott Small, he was able to tell us that investigators recovered 28 spent shell casings.
28 spent shell casings. That was the amount of shell casings that they recovered. We don't know how many shell casings fell back in a car. We don't know what the fuck. They were able to recover at least 28 spent shell casings in broad daylight. No shame, no issues, no problems, no trouble, no chases, no police calls, no nothing. All we know is a 32-year-old woman was sitting in her car, and you know the only way that they're going to get caught is if somebody snitch on them because they get pissed at them. It's the only way that they're going to get caught.
No other cars were hit, so investigators do believe that this was intentional. The car that was hit was also registered to the woman's name. There's a playground, as I mentioned, right across the street where possibly about 100 people were there at the time for a football game. Police say the woman was hit in the chest, the face, and later pronounced dead a short time later.
Shot in the chest, face, multiple times, pronounced dead at the scene. Never even got out of her car. Slumped out. right on top of the horn. If the horn wasn't going off when she was laying on it because they shot the fuck up out of her, nothing ever would have happened.
So clearly someone fired these 28 shots in a westbound direction, striking the vehicle about 15 times. And several of the bullets went through the front windshield, right on the driver's side. And we believe those bullets are the ones that struck her in the face, the neck, and the chest.
Now, we don't know exactly why she was parked at this location, Karen. According to Chief Inspector Scott Small, they did run the tags. That car is, of course, registered to her, but her last known address is not anywhere near where that shooting took place yesterday. No arrests were immediately reported following the deadly shooting incident, and police also have not shared a description of the shooter or further details about the suspect.
Because they don't know. Because they don't know. Let me tell y'all something. Ladies, I don't want to hear that protect women shit. Stay your ass about the streets. I know that y'all think that it's cute to be out here hanging and chilling out and being in the mix and all of that shit. It's not only bad when it comes to your inability to really be able to find a husband because you trauma bonding and taking all of your past experiences with you. Stay the fuck up out of the streets. Stop dealing with dudes that ain't got your best interest at heart, and then you put yourself in a difficult situation that you're not going to be able to get out of, and that's why you see this woman getting hit up right here in these streets. This is personal. This ain't random. Ain't nobody ran up on her car in broad daylights and let over 28 spent shell casings out on her, shot her in her face, her neck, everything like that. Stay the fuck up out the streets. Stay out the streets. This is not a game. This is real life. This is GTA in real life. Get the fuck out the streets. This ain't for you. It ain't cute. This life is eventually going to catch back up to you. Yes, you did, Katrina. You heard that correctly. It's fucked up out of here. Men dying, women dying. Ain't nobody discriminating about it. If you witnessed anything, then they coming back for you too. Get the fuck up out the streets.